So not.
There's a whole story, but it's he turned back in his actual and again, people were they're like, okay, you and yeah, like, you're a big white man. So that was sort of it's like that exactly why I was interested with like what I mentioned, and I had lots to figure out. And what was hard about why I stopped, I had some recovery to do.
No, with the two girls were in fact had me on shut up. It's not like my dad was had me on they so the girls they started taking it over. My mom
The timer's up. That's actually go ahead and say it.
All right, next person. If you haven't gotten to the second person should be sharing now.
Relate to what you said. I care a lot about care a lot about sustainability. Worked in both areas and working in both areas. But they ask about like the personal connection. For me, I think that just the way our country is dealing with immigration right now is at the top of mind. I haven't figured out the best way to get involved around that or to make that change. I think a lot of people are feeling like that, like we don't know what to do. But I have sort of an adopted or a big gap. It's Guatemalan.
All right, if the third person hasn't shared, it's time for the third person. And if you have 4, keep going. All right, third person.
Really Guatemalan and come here when he was 17 years old, never got documents. Also that a targeted person in this right wing. A couple of weeks, I just remember I haven't talked to him in a while. And I reached out to make sure that he still had his mom. He's amazing. Always, you know, the answers, and just, you know, he's not able to sister and some nieces and nephews in Maryland and had visited them maybe 3 or something, but he's not. Yeah. So for me, like I really have that connection.
I got all the
Yeah, you know, they can't go after every you know, I remember they made it in my parents' home. Really nice. A lot of built community, and I was just fascinated. Yeah, and he's in this lot of the other I don't know exactly what it is. Why? I don't know. That happened. I have years. So that's kind of one of the postponing it a year or 2 and finally economic inequality. But he still doesn't have any. It's still very precarious. So yeah, there's a lot of people. So
All right, you got, it's time to wrap up in about 30 seconds. We're going to come back together in about 30 seconds.
With him, I just think about me personally, like I would move with him. You know, I'd figure out something, right? But you can't do that with everyone.
But we're doing fine. Well, no, the schedule that we set goes past 2:30. That's why. No, it goes to 2. This will go about 2:25. 30, okay, 10 minutes. We started 10 minutes later.
Okay.
I'm man enough to admit this.
Okay, we're going to ask you to wrap up this. This is the worst thing, actually, asking people to wrap up a conversation after you ask them to start it. But we're going to ask you to wrap it up and bring your chairs back so we can see each other. Shh. If you would move your chairs so you can see the whole group again. We've created a monster. Yes.
Well, it's better
We've-
when you say it's time to come back and they immediately turn and come back. You actually know you're not in very good shape. So
then
it's
that's not
actually
good. That's
it's
true.
actually great that they don't want to stop talking.
You continue these conversations. I hope that you told and heard about numerous issues and real stories. And we have a few minutes to share some of maybe what really stands out that you heard. So if you have permission and you can just check, maybe there's something you heard that inspired you or that helped you know somebody better or that gave you a new angle on a connection with an issue. We'd love to hear just a few. We won't have time for everyone to share back, but we have several minutes for people to share something that you either shared or heard that inspired you. Who's up?
I'm just going to speak for what I said.
Great.
But briefly, I'm very intrigued about the importance of infrastructural change. And that's everything from, putting in an electric range or a new water heater or some solar panels. And that's very hard to do, especially when you have multiple stakeholders and some people still like their old stoves. So that's where my mind is at right now.
Thank you. Who else? And not just the issue, but also why that issue, right? There are a lot of issues we could talk about, right? But why does what come to your mind first and second, why is that? Why is that that's what's burning you up?
Thanks, Rabbi. I can share about that a little bit because I care about a lot of issues. But one of the reasons that I care about the issue of immigration is because I have someone who's close to me who I consider to be an adopted brother who is from Guatemala, who had been undocumented for 40 years when he moved here to Southern California in his teens. And just one of my favorite people in the world. And it's just a different level for me about caring about an issue, but also like every few weeks when I haven't talked to him for a little while, like reaching out and just hoping that he answers. And every time he does, I'm just really grateful and he's doing okay, but he's also having to really be below the radar, not going out much, not able to take a plane flight to visit his family across, in another state. And so, yeah, for me, it just adds a level of depth to care about an issue, but there's also like such a personal component to it.
Thank you. Wow. 40 years.
Can you tell us your name?
Thank you. Pesa.
Who else? Part of this is our chance to get to know each other. We're not just trying to surface issues. It's really, it's a chance for us to know each other better.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
who are you?
I'm Marianne Smith, and so our group, we're each doing different things. Some of it's on an individual level, and some of it's in different, and certainly everything that the show has to offer, that's also very helpful. But I'm a big issue person. I'm an old political activist. I'm an advocacy person, big feminist. So for me, I look at the really big issues, and I'm very active on social media, and I make big statements, and I write congressman letters, and I call and blah, blah, blah. But one of the things that's really upsetting to me is being Jewish in a very anti-Semitic community, and that's not fun. And there's not much I can do about it. And that I know that it is on an individual and a collective level, just a nightmare. So that's a big deal.
Can I just ask you to keep the mic for a moment and to say, would you say something?
What?
I don't mean to sort of push on something obvious. Like we are a room full of Jews. There might be some non-Jews here among us, but they're like family. Right? So I want to give you a moment to say for yourself, maybe what in your own life makes that issue so painful right now.
I grew up in Waco, Texas. It was the capital of the Ku Klux Klan in the 20s. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. That's really important for us to know. Yeah. It matters that we know these things, right? It doesn't, we don't know exactly what that will mean that we will do differently, but it matters that we know each other, because if we're going to do things together, we need to know each other that way. So please go ahead. Thank you for telling us that. And now we know that there are hours more that we could ask Marianne about that. Right? Yeah.
Well, I think what most of our projects have in common is feeding. And the fact that there are people in our country, people in our community who go hungry is a shanda. And whatever we can do to make sure that more people are fed and fed healthy foods, that's what's most important.
Okay, and I know that as a human being and as a woman, all kinds of things you might say why that issue is yours, but would you say something for you about why that is the first thing that comes to your mind?
Well, I know how important it is to be nourishing. As a mother, I nourished my children, and I'm part of a bigger community, and so everybody should be nourished.
Thank you. Who else? You don't have to have a big story. But when you start sharing something, you'll find that you do have something.
I was part of the group that had a cooking session with the residents of Moss. And what was so wonderful was that I think there were people who, it looked to me like they really hadn't, although they'd been living there for a year or two, they hadn't formed any community. Each person filed into the communal room separately. They were seating separately. But by the end of the time that we prepared and ate a meal, there was this sense of community. We are here together. And I think that was as important as the meal. And I'm hoping we can sustain in that.
Thank you. Beautiful. Here, while you're thinking, I'll share one. I have a memory of, it was either 7th or 8th grade, because I know what classroom I was in. And there was I swear it was a nuclear bomb drill. And we were told to get under our desks. And so I was under my desk, and I thought to myself, this is, let's just say stupid was the word that I thought. And I thought, these teachers are lying to us, and someone's lying to them and telling them they have to do this. And it's not really fun sitting under this desk, and I don't think this is going to save anyone's life. And maybe that's when I became an environmentalist, or started thinking that we need to think, but also started thinking we needed to think for ourselves about what some people were willing to do to the planet and to other people. Yeah. Who else? Great.
We had lots of good discussions of things we could do, which inspired me. But there's something that I wish I knew how to do something about, which is the way the Israelis are treating the Arabs on the West Bank. And I don't. So if anybody has ideas, please let me know.
Okay, a call for action and for opportunity. Thank you.
Were you wanting to?
Just a response, you can send money to Rabbis for Human Rights. And Arik Asherman in Israel, who's doing a lot for that.
Right behind Claire.
So I'm very motivated by keeping our democracy alive and making sure that everyone has the right to vote. Everyone has the right to vote. So I do a lot of that, but I also know where it started.
Great.
And it started when I was, I think it was fourth or fifth grade, and Myrlie Evers, the widow of Medgar Evers, ran for Congress in a Republican district that I lived in, in Claremont, in Southern California. And I told my parents I wanted to work for her. And so I did. I stuffed envelopes, and I don't know what else I did. And of course she lost. But I like to think that that's where I got my start in all of this.
Thank you for that. How are we doing? One or two more? We could do one or two more. Yeah. Who else can remember? Yep.
Just to add to what Claire said about donating to Rabbis for Human Rights, was it? We can also do something local, such as donating to our own rabbi's discretionary fund. And that also helps the community.
Here, here.
You wanted to?
So I'll share something I shared with my group. The root of why I feel compelled to be involved in social justice, tikkun olam, and why I believe and obnoxiously expect everybody will find some way to be involved in something, is because some years ago I spent a fair amount of time asking myself the question, what is the purpose of Judaism? Why do we have Judaism? And the answer that I figured out for me is that the purpose of Judaism is to create a world that provides the maximum amount of freedom for the maximum number of people. And armed with that, or compelled by that, if there's food insecurity in the community, somebody who is food insecure can't thrive and pursue their best form of freedom. A child who is abused can't thrive and achieve their maximum amount of freedom. Fill in the blank.
Can you say why that question? Why was it that question that you asked yourself? Why did you come up with, why was the maximum amount of freedom for the maximum amount of people?
Oh, that would take a whole after Kiddush
Oh,
talk.
but I bet you could do it. I bet you could give us a sentence or two, because it could have been the maximum amount of security. That would have been okay.
Well, except security is limited. You can be secure but not thrive.
Answer the question.
I can't give you that a quick answer. I can just tell you that it was rooted in, if I was spending my life, which at that point I already was, being devoutly Jewish, okay, and if I was spending the number of hours I was spending as a rabbi, okay, I one day just said, what's the point of Judaism? And it led me down a path, and that's where I arrived.
There's the personal story.
It's a different time.
There's the tip of the iceberg of the personal story that we now know we can ask him about, right? Thank you for that.
So we're gonna take another step forward here. And I grew up in Berkeley, up in those hills up there, and but the Berkeley schools were integrated when I was in kindergarten. And I remember I had good friends who were a very mixed group of folks, including a number of black kids who most of the black kids lived on the flats. And I got invited to Kenny Walker's his birthday party when we were in second grade. And my mom drove me from down up on the hills all the way down to the flats. And he lived in a house that looked very different than mine. And he had a homemade birthday cake, and my mom would always buy me these very well Virginia bakery cakes, right? There you go, beautiful. Right? And something struck me that there was something that was wrong with that, and I could figure that out in second grade. So I remember when I got to college at Oberlin,
I noticed that I saw things happening and racism happening, and I didn't know what to do about it. But it bothered me, but I had no idea what to do about it. And I happened to be talking. I got introduced to a man who was working in the counseling department who asked me, "Well, what would you like to have happen? Go ahead and imagine that you would want something to be different. What would you want?" And so I did. I talked it out loud, and he said, and I started describing what I would want. And he said, "Well, I got someone for you to meet." And he hooked me up with Carla Walker, an African heritage woman from Cleveland. And we ended up starting an anti-racism organization. And I would never have started it if he hadn't asked me what did I hope for or dream for. So that's what we're going to do right now, is go ahead and have a moment to imagine what you would want, right? Powerlessness is one of the most debilitating things that happens to us, is the sense that we can't do anything about it. So I think the first step is to imagine, what would you want? And so what we want to have you do is just take just a minute or two. We're going to turn to one other person near you, and just say, answer the question: what do you hope or dream that we could do in this community that would promote justice? And I'm freeing you from the practical responsibility to do it, to know how to do it, but just to go ahead and imagine what you want. And so if you're able to turn and find someone who's a different person than you, who's in your group, do so. But if you can't, just talk to whoever and just take a minute. And I will tell you in a minute from now, and then the other person can take a minute. Just
This is
partner,
just
two of
pairs
you.
of two people.
Just pairs, just one other person. It's okay if it's the same person. It's also fine if it's the same person. 213.
Short answer, inclusion.
We're 214.
I almost feel like this, we almost already did this during the but we could do this again. I almost wonder Barry did it.
Go ahead and switch to the second person.
Really staying in the forces, and then just let out Esther. I think it's okay to really body concise.
No. Should I have people?
Yeah, that's right. That's where I remember that. That's great.
Okay, let's come on back.
It's so great that you're tutoring them.
Let's come on back. So, so, I'd love to just have a few people call out a phrase of something that came to your mind, and I'll amplify it in the microphone. When you thought of what you hoped and dreamt for. Possibility of the possibility of immigration reform. Great. Your hope or your dream for here. A free and open election, and that we might be able to do something to support a free and open election. Okay.
Canvassing together with other members of Nativot who want to do that for a free and open election.
Canvassing.
To uphold the idea of broad inclusion, especially for those of those who are different.
To uphold the idea of inclusion, especially those who are different. Engaging our younger community like AMI team in some of the projects that we're already doing.
The idea that there is much more in common to any human being. I don't know how to get it, but if people will get it, more in the world and not different as we see.
So that we would.
Born as a baby.
Great. Right. So what you want to have is to promote the idea that there's much more in common, that we have way more in common with each other than things that are different, David. I'm repeating what they're saying. I'm going to repeat what he says. That's why I want it to be brief. That's why I want him to be short, so I don't have to remember too much.
Demanding that the Jewish community provide better assistance to low-income people. And one of the things that we were talking about is we now have a Moshav in Berkeley, it's called, but it is not for low-income people. It's very expensive. And we feel that there should be housing for low-income Jews.
Okay, demanding that there be housing available for low-income people, and particularly for low-income Jews. Well, I invite you, whatever your hopes and dreams were, to tell somebody else at some point. Go home and tell somebody else. So what we want to do, right? So I learned, one of my teachers said that you can always get where you can get to the place you want to go by taking many different paths, as long as you take that path. So we have lots of ideas of possibilities. We also have some that we're already taking here at Nativot Shalom, as we're lifted up earlier by Barry and then by David. We want to just give a quick taste of a couple of the projects that are alive and well, and then leave a little room if you have something else you want to have happen. Ari?
Sure, I can speak to some of the work that Climate Tzedek has been doing. We're a diet. Yeah, I can. Is that better? I can speak to some of the work that Climate Tzedek has been doing. We're a Dayenu Circle. It's a Jewish response to the climate crisis, and we've been doing local, state, and national work for a livable future. And there's some more concrete actions that we want to invite you to participate in. More on that later, around the election.
You heard a lot about what the Community Action Working Group is doing, so I'm just going to highlight some of the newer things. One is we're planning to gift Step Up a laptop computer so that the people there can apply for jobs more easily. And we have funds for that, but we keep looking for funds so we can do stuff like that. So we're happy we can do that. And we're also going to be doing more workshops there. They do want more cooking classes, and they're going to be looking for yoga. Those seem like two pretty easy things. And in the future, we hope to be able to offer more things, maybe related to resumes or jobs, but not quite yet. One thing we learned is take things very slowly. And then another new thing that Ruth Konoff has started, I don't know if she's here, yeah, is cooking for Consider the Homeless, cooking hearty soup once a month, and then Consider the Homeless people go around and hand it out to people with bread and other things that people need. And if you want to do that, that's already starting to happen here. And every last Sunday of the month, you can join in. There's a sign-up sheet, and the next one is Sunday afternoon, the 30th of August.
We have a new project, Payah Forward. Payah is the ancient mitzvah. The Torah mandated that ancient Israelite farmers leave the corners of their fields unharvested. Those were for the food insecure in the community to freely take from. A modern twist, Payah Forward, is what I call crowdsourcing a solution to food insecurity. We're invited, each of us, when we go to the market, to buy one item, just one food item. You want to do more, you can, but one food item, shelf-stable item, place it symbolically in the corner of your basket, bring it to shul. There's a collection container in the social hall, and once a week, our very own Rivka Shenhav is our volunteer who picks it up and brings it to a project right here in the neighborhood, just a mile from here. And so it's the power of 100 people, 200 people bringing one shelf-stable item to help solve food insecurity in our very own neighborhood.
One more.
Me, okay. So a group of us are putting together an event here. Oh, is that better? Yeah. Okay, so I'm Dina Belenkoff, and a group of us are putting together an event here. We're calling it a Democracy Fair, Postcarding and Beyond, to help you figure out how you might want to get involved in the elections this fall. It's Sunday of Labor Day weekend in the morning, 10 to 11:30. We're going to have several different groups and do a number of different things. I know a lot of people are engaged already. This is obviously a very engaged community. So this is about maybe if you haven't been engaged, ways to get involved. And also, if you are, maybe there are some other things you might want to do or consider, kind of a step up or looking at something different, whether it's issue-based or voter protection or whatever. So I think it's going to be really good, and I would encourage you all to come.
Great. And I just want to make space. If there is an idea, if you have an idea of something you might want to make happen and you want to see if somebody else in here might want to join you to do it, I want to leave room for that. This I'll hand you the mic for.
Not seeing any response to that, I just want to put out one more little plug for Consider the Homeless. In addition to the work that we're doing here once a month, It's an organization that needs people cooking, driving, and other things twice a week, all year round. So even if you don't feel like you want to be engaged with the group here, or you can't do Sunday afternoons because you have something else going on, talk to me about it and I can let you know more of what the group does.
And so if an idea comes to you, or if you had an idea and you weren't quite ready to let it bloom, any one of us on the social justice, there we got one. Hold on.
Got one more. So I noticed tomorrow afternoon there's a training from, I think it's Bay Area Jews for Immigrant Justice. Thank you. Yeah. So I'm not part of the group, so I can't vouch for the training, but I'm going to go. And so for I believe it's 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. Talking about the background of the Jewish immigration journey and how that relates to the experience of immigrants now. And so if anyone else was interested, it seems like a few of us have the information for that. But I'm looking forward to going and see if there's something I can do that comes out of that.
I do know the people who are leading it, and I can vouch for them quite highly. So great. At Chochmat Halev tomorrow.
But it's an independent group.
Yes, it's not an Netivot Shalom event. It's the Bay Area Jews for Justice. Pardon me? Correct.
That's what I mean, yeah.
Correct. Correct. Ari.
All right, so this event and the Social Justice Shabbat has been put on by a lot of different people. Part of what we're trying to do here is raise awareness of things that are already happening. We want to lay the groundwork for future actions as well. So if you're interested in being a part of the organizing team, we want to invite you to be a part of that. So that's something you can definitely do. Folks that you can talk to about that, raise your hand if you're a part of the social organizing team. Feel free to reach out to any of us if you're interested in being a part of that team. We also want you to take action however you want, right? That's the key to making this work. We're taking action together. The more of us that do anything, we're going to be stronger. So you heard a lot about what's already happening. I have a flyer here that I'm going to fill out, which I'm going to hand out. And this kind of just lays out a lot of the things you've heard about already. These are opportunities to get out the vote. You can see that we have, let me look at that. Let me look at that with you. Sorry, I didn't see one. You can see we have two categories here: election 2026 and food security. So you heard about these three events on the left. We have Get Out the Vote postcarding with Dayenu. That's Sunday, August 30th at noon. There's this democracy fair, which will be really great opportunity to hear from organizations that we hope will inspire you. And you can talk about what feels good, what doesn't, and how to plug in. And then as part of Dayenu, we have a campaign kickoff call. Most of the stuff's happening on site here at the shul, but this is a virtual event, so you can register. There's a link to register, and this is going to be a call with people all over the country that are going to join together to get out the vote. So you can plug into that. And then you can see for food security, we have cooking soup every week, pay it forward, and there's also some ways that you can put money to work, right? So donate to, I think a gentleman in the back, Howard, you said donate to the Rabbi's Discretionary Fund, but there's also the Housing and Food Security Fund and the Social Action Fund. So what we're going to do right now is turn to someone next to you, look at the sheet, or think about one other way, like what is an action that you're going to take? So talk to someone next to you. What's an action that you're going to take for justice with Netivot? Whether it's going to cook soup, whether it's going to send postcards or go to the democracy fair or something else, someone that you want to talk to learn more about, how to make sure that Jews with low income have housing. So if there's, what is one step that you're going to commit to for justice as part of our synagogue, as part of our community? So just take a moment, turn to the person next to you, and what's one thing that you're going to do?
I'm going to be postcarding at Tuesday night.
What's that?
my temple in Richmond is Temple Bethel. We're having our first postcarding night on Tuesday.
Great.
Yeah, and I'll try to come and postcard here too.
Great.
How about you?
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Ariel, could David David Randall wants the microphone.
Oh, here.
So can I just bring it?
Hold on, no, hold on.
Oh,
Howard,
just 1 second.
Howard. Hold on. Let's find out what actually he wants.
Okay.
Let me go check what he wants.
Here. What's your next step?
I'm just gonna ask 5 to share out loud, and then we can thank them for coming.
Great.
Is there any other?
Yeah,
thing they wanna
that's
do?
great.
Okay, we're gonna come back together in 30 seconds.
It's not a text. This is for closing. Well, it's not a good time for announcement.
Well, he can share one thing he's gonna do. That's part of what we're doing right now. Tell him to do that. I'm gonna ask 5 people to share out loud. All right, time to wrap it up. Really glad people are inspired to take action and you've decided on your next step that you're going to take. So now we want to hear from a few people. We want to hear from a few people. Let's come back together. Feel free to keep chatting when we close, but before we close, let's hear from a few people. What's one thing that you're going to do? What's one action that you're going to take as part of Netivot Shalom? So let's come together, everyone. Yeah. Did you get one of these?
Make a difference. I just, I'm wondering.
For the mic?
Postcarding been shown to be. Has postcarding been shown to be effective?
Yeah, all of these. So yeah, all of these events are effective, whether it's postcarding, whether it's phone banking, whether it's canvassing. There's lots of analysis on it, and it is effective. I think the Environmental Voter Project, and you'll actually see, if you join the virtual campaign kickoff, you'll actually see some of the data on this. I think that they analyzed that it had a 1% difference, which looks like it's small, but that could add for some of the effects. Do you want to share some other?
No, I mean, I've done this kind of stuff since.
Just encouraging.
I've been involved in these things since the last era of the person who's in charge of this country. And there are so many ways for the data to be analyzed now, and they have definitive figures on how much it makes a difference. And I think part of that is because people don't know how much their voices really matter. And that's kind of a secret, a well-kept secret in democracy.
Okay, and another, not just idea, but an
Yeah,
announcement.
a couple of very quick things. First of all, I would like to say that social justice is very powerful in this community, and it is extremely impressive. But social justice without accessibility does not work. And you have 2 blind people here, and the flyers were not made accessible. And, we have been telling you this for the last 2 years, and it is time that the board and staff and everybody else takes some responsibility. We all have to work together. My announcement is this. Last week, Linda Blackman told me that a friend of hers has lost her sight, and she was totally isolated and very upset. And who knows what she could have done to herself. Well, I immediately got together resources and people that I know, And I made a list and sent it to Linda, and we sent it to a close friend of this other person named Shelley. And I was able to get this person into a support group, which is a statewide support group, and she will no longer be isolated. What I want to suggest is that we start a group to help newly disabled Jews so that they can continue to live normal lives. Because the funding has been reduced government-wise, and so we in the Jewish community can do a lot of help. Thank you.
Thank you, and thanks for the reminder that we need to work with the Inclusion Committee on how we get announcements out.
Thank you, David. I'm happy to go through the flyer with you to make sure that you have all the information as well. So anyone want to share one action that you want to take? We want to hear from a few people. Is anyone going to take any action, something on this flyer or something else for justice? All right, Barry, what's one thing that you're going to do? All right, all of the above. All right, Barry's very ambitious. We heard from the Josh maker. Anyone else have something that? Esther. Great. So Esther's going to the Democracy Fair, which is on Sunday, September 6th, 10 to 11:30 a.m. here, so she can learn about ways to support democracy in the midterms.
We need someone to help with the Zoom on that day because none of us know how to use it or how to organize.
So I'm curious, how many people are interested and think that you'll attend the Democracy Fair? All right, that's a great show of hands. I see almost, I think 18 people are going to make it. Hi, that's great. Okay, anyone else? Would anyone like to share anything else you would do? Thank you. Thank you. All right. All right, I think we're done.
Yeah, I appreciate everybody coming out. Appreciate all the work that folks are doing. And Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you.
The organizers.
Pardon me? The Bay Area Jews for Justice are doing an immigration training. Well, no, and